All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Haikyuu, Season 4, Episode 2.
It feels good to say that.
I know,
Season
right?
4.
Season 4. There's so many, great things that are just bubbling up within me with regards to thinking about Hinata and Kageyama and Suki all being in, these key locations where they can meet people and also develop certain things that they didn't have focused on in the previous 3 seasons.
Like discipline for Hinata and restraint, maybe.
Humility,
yeah. Many things like that.
You remember, moments where Hinata was like, I want to battle myself. I want to do these things myself. And now, in some ways, he's actually going to get the first kind of foundation to be able to do that.
Yep. Go be a ball boy.
Yeah. And learn by osmosis things that, he's just going to see happening out there. That's what they did in the coaching camp kind of a little bit. He would look at the other teams and be like, oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, Suki's also there, and he's officially there, so he's going to get that practice a little bit more hands-on.
Yes.
And the idea of Shiro Torizawa's coach kind of being
that's really cool.
Leader of this, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I just love the idea that he's the one that focuses on the first years and the young ones, given that when he was a kid, he was kind of the short one, the one that didn't have all the power.
Even though he does specifically look for height and power and all that stuff in
now.
Right.
As a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, Kageyama is also in his own place with the Olympic coach for Japan's volleyball there, among other things and other people.
Yeah, and then meeting the new character Tsukasa, I believe is his name. Yes, Sakusa Kiyumi.
Right.
Sakusa Kiyumi.
From Itachiyama.
Itachiyama, the team that defeated, what was it, Fukurodani?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they won the Tokyo prefecture bit there.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty
nuts. So we're going to meet maybe some more characters and have some cool interactions, but this is probably one of my favorite parts about Haikyuu is all the character interaction dynamics and stuff, because this is so good. So, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Wow. So, all right, Hinata is progressing. He's getting to the point where he's facing his frustrations and his insecurities and everything, his fears, and
he's a little lost.
And he's lost, but that is a point where from there he can push off into new territory.
Yep.
Once he finds out what it is, and we think he might have, given how confidently he walked out with the mops.
Yeah.
I think the whole idea of him also realizing the humility angle is very important, because even though, he is definitely the protagonist of this story, and he does have his freak quick that he does with Kageyama, he needs to realize that, it's just, well, not realize, because he does understand that he's not the only person on the team, but just that
for sure
you're one person, right?
Yes.
And that there are things that other people are really good at that you're not, things that are very valuable. And so, him potentially, whatever he learns here, will help round him out as a person, I think. Whether it's, receiving or something else, even if it's something specifically about spiking. But yeah. Yeah.
But we've got our characters set up where they're at. Kageyama was not focused on this episode, so I believe Kageyama will be set up for a future kind of little mini arc of things here, because this seems to be Hinata's mini arc, and it's probably done this way because Tsukishima is here as well, so you get a little bit more efficiency with how you handle the players with the most kind of focused amount of story. With regards to our main cast. And then you can go back to our Karasuno boys as, Hinata goes back with Suki to school, and then focus on the coaches, Ukai, Takeda, Tetsu. But we ended up having a little bit of a fun little twist coming in here, in that Ushijima and Tendo ended up showing up to basically help along some of these new, young, aspiring volleyball players. Be shown this is the height of the ladder for high school. This is what you should aspire to be. Learn from them. And And I really think they're actually going to be giving Hinata an actionable bit of volleyball skill through this part in the story.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something that he'll learn by either osmosis or by talking and connecting with the other players. I'm very interested to see what it's going to be, but we might not get that in the immediate sense for a while, because what they're focusing on right now is the idea of Hinata changing his perspective.
Yes.
The way he's changing the way he thinks about certain things.
Right.
And Ukai had that little bit of saying, like, we need to make sure, or Takeda Tetsu had that part of saying, we need to make sure that they always are thinking.
Right.
And the fact that immediately after that, Hinata is thinking about how he can change up things.
Yep.
What do you think he's going to arrive at? Like,
well, originally I was thinking
perspective-wise?
just practice on receives, but the other thing I was thinking that it could potentially be, and maybe this wouldn't quite fit because this is something that he would still practice with Karasuno.
Oh,
but
okay. I was meaning his change of perspective. What do you think about that? Because he'll probably get some kind of thing like that just by what have you. But his what'll be his change of mind? Like what'll be like the way he's thinking differently?
Well, I mean, okay, there could be an emotional perspective, or there could be a literal perspective in my mind, right?
Okay.
So there could be
expound upon that.
So if it was an emotional perspective, it would be like how he thinks about himself and his team and things like that, and there could be really good stuff there. There could be a literal perspective in that from this angle, seeing them doing these things over and over, blocking or spiking or or whatever, he's like, okay, maybe he gets some insights. This is how it works. He can see how, like when Ushijima spikes in his particular way, right? Because he's left-handed, it, spins off in a particular direction, right? Or maybe because he's trying to, basically catch all the balls as quick as he can, he realizes that there's some way that he could spike differently in order to make it harder to receive or something like that.
Okay. I still think they're trying to do a thing where they're really dividing the difference between the thing that translates into volleyball skills versus his
Hinata
actual
personally.
change of perspective in his mind.
Right.
And I think what it's going to be, it has to be something along the lines of his place in a team. In a team of players, one of the things that's very tricky to figure out is how do you individually develop while still being a team player? One tricky thing with volleyball specifically is that volleyball requires you in some ways to always have at minimum 3 touches whenever there's the ball enters your side of the court. And in a lot of other sports, sometimes you can just have a one-man show just go off like in basketball and they'll just score. And it's like, oh, that's great and all. And in some ways, volleyball can lend itself to that by having everything set up the perfect, essentially foundation for a spiker to then come in and deliver a bit there. That's kind of Shiro Torizawa's strategy in a lot of ways. Sure. But I think with Hinata, what he needs to learn and what he might end up learning here might have some congruency. And the only thing I can think of is that all these players here are from different teams.
Yeah.
So they have to build synergy where there is no foundation. So they're all volleyball players, and they're all new volleyball players. And the fact that they're trying to figure out a way to beat the alumni and third years of Shiro Torizawa might lead to them all having to be the best team players they can be in order to actually even have a shot. Which means Hinata might look at that and go, oh, how can I be the best team player possible as a wing spiker? Like maybe he comes back to the team of Karasuno and he's wanting to invigorate them with the passion to drive themselves forward in volleyball. And it's less about what he actually learns, skill wise.
Gotcha. I could potentially see something like that.
Okay.
What I'm trying to figure out is how being a ball boy specifically would help him do that. Like other than from the humility aspect of not being the one playing, right? What?
Oh, he's benched.
Yeah.
How do you be a team player in a sport where you're almost never, like if you're benched? What are the 2 people in Karasuno's team?
Yeah, the other second years.
Kinoshita and Narita.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 players that literally only played like once in the whole first 3 seasons. And I don't even remember which one it was that actually got a chance to play for a little bit. What if Hinata was benched in Karasuno?
Okay.
How could he best be a team player and help grow himself?
Well, I feel like
benched essentially.
I feel like he already does that pretty well, like because he's a very like chipper, positive person, you know. Even if he is very much itching to get back into the game,
right?
One of the things that I could potentially see though, is that it's something where it's basically pushing him out of the nest because Kageyama makes him amazing at everything, right? Because he's Kageyama, right? He's like the perfect setter,
right?
So what does Hinata do when he doesn't have a perfect setter, right? If like the whole thing of like reflexes and stuff, Kageyama's constantly setting him up. Even for like the freak quick, Kageyama has to make the ball stop in front of him so that he can actually get the proper spike, right?
for the ultimate
super crazy spike, right?
Yeah.
And granted, that would always be helpful. But the thing that this makes me think of, like, because you were talking about the connections and teamwork and all that stuff,
right?
In that while you would be specialized for your own team, if you just play with your team, the play style could get stale. Because you don't have to you don't have to flex and adjust and things like that because you know how the other people play. Whereas if you're playing with a bunch of other people that are also really good players, then you have to adjust to what they're doing. And then when you go back to your team,
a team player,
right? And that's being a team player. And then when you go back to your own team, you can have fresh perspective. How that will help Hinata, I'm not entirely sure because he's not actually playing with them,
right?
But
so I think it has to be then. The only other thing left would be then him talking. Literally just talking with like Shiratorizawa's coach, with people like Ishijima, and then just having those interactions mean something, absorbing whatever he can via just the connection points there. Now they're all kids and stuff, but I still think that there's potential for like, well, you know, Hinata, you've got a lot of. Oh, that could be the other thing. The perspective of he's got so many years ahead of him of volleyball still in high school.
Okay.
He's in his first year. So think about this from the grand perspective.
All right.
While it might be kind of freaky that he's not actually like he's not actually going to be crazy helpful necessarily in nationals, even though I think he will be. Because the other teams are probably going to be really good, but still, I don't think Karasuno's going to win anything like big in nationals. Is my guess. Is that it's going to be about planning for that next year and getting kind of that perspective in place, so that when you're approaching the future, you have people that you can do kind of the Yamaguchi style thing. Remember when Yamaguchi like wasn't on the court at all? And he would go and talk to, you know, the alumni. The other ones.
Learn float serves.
And learn float serves and all that stuff. Hinata could end up doing that kind of stuff.
Well, that's the kind of thing that I feel like he needs to do, because in this situation, the emotional like development and all that stuff is really good. But if it doesn't result in some kind of technical application for volleyball, he's essentially wasting his time from the perspective of nationals.
Right.
Right. So they're like I'm thinking of this as like the hero going out and they need to bring back the boon, right? Like Tanaka was joking around and being like, you know, some secret technique or whatever, right?
Yeah, and I don't think that was just a joke thing. I think that's actually what's going to happen. Otherwise, it won't have been worth the
exactly.
The
and
loss
maybe
of practice time.
Like, you know, okay, with the other people that are doing the practice, he wouldn't be able to get them to, you know, like do drills with him after everyone else is done. But maybe with Ushijima and Tendo, maybe he could be like, hey guys, come on, like let's do some more stuff, and they'd be like, come on, we're not even supposed to be here, like, you know, or like we're just here to help out, like. But
that could be cool. We could have maybe the equivalent of what happened in season 2 with you know, Kuru and Suki and you know, Bokuto and all them. We could have 3v3s, right? You know, little drill things after this is all over.
Yep.
Maybe
like that could be really a thing.
Cool. We got a lot of little derpy moments, lots of really funny moments here. We had Tanaka being amazing. We had Hinata having many hilarious little moments here. We had Tsukishima dropping the the monologue tirade on
he just
Hinata.
kept going,
and that was
and
just
each one was like, cutting deep.
Yeah,
cutting deep.
He did not hold back at all, and that was fantastic. We had little moments where with Tendo and Ushijima and that part where he's all like, "Hey, give me back my jump," or what have you. And what did he say? "Give me back this week's jump." And he's like, "I'm still reading. Removes unnecessary hair and leaves skin feeling silky smooth." It's like,
oh boy,
Ushijima, like you're not even reading the actual manga. Like,
Yep.
I just little things like that. Also, Hinata getting chewed out by literally everyone. And then Suga in the background. See, I love how you look in the background of Haikyuu, and there's all these dirt faces,
it's great.
And Sugawara just being like, "Hey, good going."
Oh yeah.
Like, we can't send him mixed messages, Our kids need to know exactly that we are unified.
Yep. Straight up.
It was adorable.
Man.
Also, I love Tendo's shock of like, wait a minute. Why are you not?
Yeah.
Why are you not playing?
and then
yes, like, Tendo's like arrival of just like, haha, I spot the number 10. And the way he has like this approach here. What does he do? Let me see. It's like this. I spot the number 10 from Karasuno. I'm gonna cut you down to size even more. And he does like a like what? What?
Jeez.
And then it's just like Tendo got immediately like confused of just like wait what?
Why are you one of these things is not like the others. What's going on?
I am confusion.
Yeah.
Why is this one not touching the volleyball on the court?
He is confused.
Coach Shiratorizawa, explain this. What is this?
Oh man. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. We got some little equivalent for Gramps Ukai, which at least it wasn't an actual Well, so that's good.
But this could be something where basically, because the teams need to win, right? And there's going to be all kinds of conflict on that side with training and everything. But they also need a leader. They need the coach. And if the coach is also dealing with stuff on multiple fronts, it's like, oh boy, like let's just crank up the drama and tension to 11. Why don't we?
Yeah. Thankfully, we can get along just fine with our young coach Ukai. We went this far, we didn't have to have Gramps Ukai, show up to all the matches or anything like that. But it is a thing of where it could emotionally affect young coach Ukai.
Yeah.
And that's something that like you said, it's something that's it's an issue. Although what do you think about this talk with Itetsu and Ukai, where they're saying like, if we can always present the correct answer, then we should, but the best thing we can do is make sure that they don't stop thinking and make sure they keep searching what's best for them.
Yeah. Because the thing is that, even the best coach, while they will have a perspective that the players won't, it is a different perspective. It's not like if this is a Venn diagram or something, they have a whole bunch of perspective that the players don't have. But the players do have some perspective that they don't have because they're not the actual players, right? So the idea of giving answers versus equipping and making them properly think and ask questions and stuff, that's great. It's fantastic. And granted, Hinata's path that he's taking is not a traditional one, but if they can make it so that he is equipped to really do his best, not just what he thinks is his best or what they think is his best, but what is truly his best, then he could potentially get a lot out of it.
Okay.
But
yeah. I really like that. I think that this is a big moment for Ukai specifically to kind of absorb what Takeda Itetsu is saying, because this started with him saying the bit about Hinata, that he's kind of thinking about like, we can't lose any of our current players and includes Hinata, and because of that we've limited what Hinata should be doing, all for what's best for the team. In a way, we're doing the same thing as Washijo Sensei. And Washijo Sensei, I believe that's Shiro Torizawa's coach.
Yep.
Which is which is interesting because we were talking about how Hinata should learn the aspects of being a team player more.
Mm-hmm.
Here, they're in some ways saying we need Hinata to be that weapon and nothing really else.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because that's what Hinata was in some ways wanting to do more of in season 2. And it was the other teammates that were like, no, we need you to focus on your receives and your blocking and get better at that. So they have their polished weapons here, and Itetsu kind of mentions that. But yeah, and then he says also, yeah, Hinata understands that, you know, this more than anyone else. He knows where his own failings are, that he's got a mountain of stuff to work on.
Right.
And what does he say here? He's like, he's got a mountain of stuff to work on. So I'm sure that makes him panic a bit. Oh, that's cool. Now, panicking being the similar, parallel, but opposite in certain aspects way to thinking.
Yeah.
The idea that Hinata is constantly thinking about the ways he can better. If we remember season 1 Hinata, he was panicking constantly about the ways he wasn't good enough.
Yes.
So this is showcasing his growth in that regard, in that when he has his moments of, I'm not able to do the things that I want to do, instead of panicking, he goes and puts his head in the big mats or whatever those are.
He's dealing with his panic, you know.
Right. But it's him processing it. It's him thinking. It's him like, I need the heat going to my brain. And like, what can I do? And he's not being coached on this. This is him taking his own initiative here.
Yep.
So when he comes back, I think what'll be exciting is that he'll probably have a twofold aspect of this. He'll be more coachable because he'll have learned a little humility from getting barked at by the Shiro Torizawa coach, and then also have
that perspective. Yeah.
So Hinata, growth.
Yep.
This is good. And imagine if this is what we're getting with Hinata. What are we going to get with Kageyama?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When he's actually, like, participating in this. He's getting, like, top of the national level, like, you know, focus on specific things. He's already a honed, perfect volleyball player, you know.
They're actually not even going to show any of it. Kageyama's just going to come back later, and he's going to be like, dude, Hinata.
Yeah, he's going to have
this aura,
believe, like waving off of him.
The king cloak is going to be back on in Hinata's mind.
Oh, no.
You know, and he's just going to be like, dude, yeah, this is going to be pretty great.
I would love to see it be a thing where it's instead of, like, the king kind of robe or what have you there, Kageyama comes back and he looks like almost a bit haggard. Oh, like he was trained so much.
Yeah.
But then Hinata like shifts his kind of view of it, and it's like he's like a war vet coming back.
Yeah.
From like, and he's learned, and he's got all these stripes and pins on him and medals, and it's just like, what did you learn?
Just to suffer.
And he's like,
every night I can feel the volleyball in my fingers. Yeah.
In my arms.
Yeah.
And the sets I've lost.
The points I've lost.
Or an even like better thing is that Kageyama comes back and he goes, I've seen the competition. We're going to do amazing things in nationals now. And they're all like, what did you learn? And he's just like, it's gonna be fantastic.
He does like he suddenly like grabs Takeda Tetsu's glasses and like pushes them up.
Yeah. Or like cool. he also learns maybe a lot more humility, realizing that he's not that good. Meaning that there are players out there that are so good that he's like, I just sat back and absorbed everything I could, and I still don't know anything about volleyball. And they're like, Kageyama's saying this? Oh my god! You know? Like, either response would be really cool.
I have seen the face of God. It's short, with a bunch of spiky white hair.
Yes! yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, so Y'all,
Here we are.
thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction discussion. This was a fantastic episode. 2 already of season 4. Loving it. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about Haikyuu, about anime in general. And you can also talk with Jacob about the book that he wrote.
That's right. Yeah, so I wrote a sci-fi novel. It's pretty awesome. It's called Battle Lines, and it's available for purchase on Amazon. Links in the description down below. It's in both hardback and ebook, so whichever one works best for you, go check it out.
Yeah, so if any that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.